We are live. What's good, everybody? It's your man, D.L. Saint. Welcome. Really want to know podcast, man. How y'all feeling out there? How y'all feeling? What's good? What's good, man? Let's do a quick sound check. Sounds all right over there. How y'all feeling, man? Happy Thursday. It is Independence Day Eve. As you guys know, I'm a former soldier, paratrooper. You know what I mean? I've been deployed. I've done all that, man, and I don't like Independence Day, bro. I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm messing with the. That's one holiday, bro. I stay in the house. Don't like it. Don't like it. Too many zip pops. You know, some of those firecrackers and rockets or whatever. They sound too close to the real deal, bro. Especially the ones that are off in the distance, crackling. See is just they're just like crackling off in the distance somewhere. Like, I don't like that, bro. But tomorrow is Independence Day, guys. So happy 4th and all that good stuff. But yeah, we're here for part 2, man. Yesterday we had a real good conversation. We were talking about is the dating game worth it today, bro? We're doing part 2, and we're gonna be reacting to a really cool podcast. What is it? My Truth is trying to find it. It's Sharing My Truth podcast. That's the name of the podcast we're gonna be reacting to. Part 2. We're gonna continue the conversation, man. I know Sean Combs beat 3 out of 5. Charges. We're gonna be talking about the Diddler and how he beat what he beat, man. We're going to get into that. Again, whatever you guys throw in the chat, I'm going to react to. And, we're going to chop it up and all that good stuff. But, yeah, that is what it is. So let's get into it. And we are live. What's good, y'all? Welcome to I Really Want to Know podcast, y'all. Get some indeed, man. That's what's up, man. Get some. We got Brother Mandrill in the building. What is happening, Green Beret? You got an SF guy in the building. We got Brother Jay in the building. What's up, fam? It is what it is. Brother Donnie here as well, man. What's good, fam? Yes, sir. We live. We doing what we do here, man. We live. We're going to finish this conversation, man. Yeah, bro, that was, I reached out to the sisters on that Speak Your Truth podcast, man. I just, within an hour ago, I think it was, I shot them a message via their Instagram. I'm pretty sure someone will get back to me. And I asked them if they will be willing to, do a collab. Maybe we can continue that conversation, maybe start our own conversation. You guys know, I'm a retired air traffic controller. Maybe they want to ask me some questions about air traffic. I'll get to know who they are. So I'm really hoping, man, that we get an opportunity to talk to those sisters, man. Because, like I said yesterday, man, I'm going to say it again today, and I'm going to keep saying it. The red pill stuff, the manosphere stuff, these topics, what's going on right now, man, it's mainstream. It's mainstream. People want to know about this, bro. Women want to know about this, man. So this conversation is going to continue, not just here on YouTube, but it's going to be in mainstream media. It's going to be, people talking about it on TikTok, which y'all know I don't mess with TikTok, but I'll look at the videos, but I'm not on there. People are going to talk about it on Facebook. They're going to talk about it on Instagram, all the different social medias, talking about it in real life because it's a thing. It's definitely a thing, man. I was talking to a dude today. Right, I'm at work. And I work in this big garage, guys. I work for this rental car company. And I'm the guy that goes around just to make sure that the vehicle is ready to be rented. It's a real mindless job. It's cool. It keeps me walking all day, man. Steps-wise, bro, I'm doing, God, I might be it might be 10 miles a shift that I'm walking. Well, anyway, this guy comes up to me. He's like, it was a black guy. You can tell he's kind of nerdy. But he seems like a good dude. Comes up, he's like, hey, girl's with me, man, and she's, real particular. And he has all of his body, and he's kind of like, oh man, she's real particular. And he's telling me this issue, and I said, all right, this is what you do. You go over there to those people in customer service, make sure you use these words, and they'll swap the vehicle out. But this is how it's done. And like, and when you do get your other vehicle, this is what you want to do. Go do this, blah, blah, blah. I gave him some pointers, and he was like, oh man, appreciate it, brother. Thanks, bro. Yeah, no problem. And he can, he gets himself ready, man, and he goes back to the car to deal with whatever he has to deal with his, significant other. And then I see them maybe 10 minutes later, and he didn't take my advice. He asked, had to do what she wanted to do, had to do it her way, which is I gave him the game. Like, here's just how you do it, bro. One step, boom, it's done. He wants to do it her way, 3 or 4 steps, right? And then she goes off. She's like talking to him. You don't know what you're doing, Dad. And she goes off to do it herself because she's going to take care of those people, right? And I'm standing there doing what I do and walk over to him. And I was like, hey, brother. He's kind of head down. He know what time it is. I guarantee you this dude is in the manosphere. I guarantee this dude consumes this content. And I was like, hey, man. Like, no, I mean, no disrespect, bro. And if I'm out of line on what I'm about to say, man, you feel free to say what you got to say to me. He was like, go ahead. I said, man, she's easy to replace. You're hard to replace. Like, you know that, right? And he was like, I do. And his head dropped. He was like, I do. And I just letting you know, bro, you're the one. Like, you are rare. She is common. There's a lot of, no disrespect and nothing, bro, but there's a lot of hers out there. There's only so many yous. He's like, I know exactly what you're talking about, brother. Exactly. Like, I got some thinking to do. Right. And I'm sitting there like, all right. And I went on about my business doing what I'm doing. So you see what I'm saying? Like, with these relationships, and people are out here in the real world dealing with what they're dealing with, bro. Everyone is thinking about it. This dude is dealing with this girl. And, he's trying to cater to her. And it's like, bro, if you're dealing with somebody, man or woman, I'm keeping it 100. If you're a lady out there and you got a dude that's a headache, you're a dude out there, you got a woman that's a headache, the headache never goes away. It only gets worse. The more you give, the more they take, the more they want. The more you give, the more they take, the more they want, until finally you're spent, you're used up, and you either snap and get rid of them, or they get rid of you. Right? So don't waste your time. This is what we're talking about here. Like, is the dating game worth it with all this stuff going on? This brother right here be like, Brother Michael, man. Recreational use only, bro. Y'all need to be like this dude. What's good? What's good, fam? Good to see you, Brother Donnie. Did I turn the? Yeah, I turned the chats on. And Brother Donnie, like, knowing is half the battle, though, man. Most still won't apply the truth into action. Bro, you're right. You're right. I mean, it is what it is. It's comfortable, bro. And I'm telling you, man, it all stems from that Disney fairy tale. I was thinking about it today. It is really hard to get that Disney fairy tale programming out of your psyche, man. I was saying impossible. With everything I know, with all the things I've done, with all my experience, I still got caught up because I wanted that Disney fairy tale. I wanted it, bro. I'm going to keep it 100. I wanted it. I wanted it. Through the red flags and all, I wanted it. Right? With everything I know about the court system, everything I know about marriage, thank God I didn't do it, but I got engaged, but I wanted it, bro. It was like, I want the Disney fairy tale. It was ingrained in us. We're just now getting to the generation. We might be 1, maybe 2 generations in with people who don't have that Disney fairy tale programming, because Disney done messed up the fairy tale, right? Like, they done messed up Snow White. You know what I mean? Like, look at Disney. Disney done messed up everything, bro. Right? Snow White is messed up. The one with Prince. Well, Snow White is the one with Prince Charming, right? That's the one they just did, right? That's the one with the 7. Yeah, Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. That's messed up. What's the one when at the ball and everything? Cinderella. That's messed up. So the Disney fairy tale, I think we're just getting into 1, maybe 2 generations who don't have that programming. I'm curious to see how their relationships turn out. You know what I mean? I'm just curious. I mean, it is what it is. You know, Brother Pitney in the building. What's good, fam? Yeah, please like and please like the video. Please like the video. If you watch for the first time, you're out there ninja watching, just subscribe if you don't mind. Share. I'm gonna put out a whole bunch of clips, man. You know, do us a favor, man. We're trying to get back to getting people to, you know, subscribe. Let's get our numbers up. Let's get our numbers up, man. Tinder and Instagram messed up the fairy tale even more. Facts. Social media destroyed the fairy tale, bro. So the Disney fairy tale programming, Prince in shining armor, slaying the dragon, like we said yesterday, man. You know, today, the knights of today, bro, ain't nobody trying to slay the dragon to get the girl. Ain't nobody trying to do it. They're like, you know, Mr. Dragon, you can keep that chick. You know, take my horse over here, but I'm about to conquer another land. I heard the women over here are fairer anyway. I'm trying to get me a fair princess, you know what I mean, to be my queen. And I mean, it's all messed up. You know what I mean, man? I was like, it's not worth it. It's worth it if it works. I mean, I'm here to tell you that. You know, that let's put the Disney fairy tale programming to the side for a moment. If you find yourself a good woman, right? Just like in the Bible, man. What does it say? A man who finds a wife finds a good thing, right? That's words to that effect. If you vet properly, man, if you go in with the proper knowledge, you know what you're getting yourself into, right? If you do all that, if you are focused on your mission and you find the right woman and you vet her, I say at least 2 years. 2 years of vetting her, getting to know her, really know what it is, get to know her family, get to know her relationship with her family and all that. Her aspirations, her fears, all that. See if she's like on your program. How do they put it in the manosphere, in your frame, all that good stuff. She's willing to be there, right? She's willing to be your executive officer. You're the CO, you're the commanding officer. She's willing to be your XO. You find the right woman, bro. You found a good thing. She will 1000X whatever y'all got going on. You will be successful. I'm in that garage. You know, it's kind of cool. You know, I'm in that garage. I'm in a tourist city, and you know, people are flying in. We're at the airport, and I get to see the boss babes. I get to see the Chads, the Tyrones, the Pookies, the Ray Rays. I get to see, you know, the 304s, but I also get to see the married couples that come in there with their families. I get to see that. I'm sitting there, you know, and I know we don't have enough kids, and boy, especially today, man, with so many bad little kids running around. It's like, I'm like, we don't have enough kids in America. Y'all sure? Because I'm tired of these little knuckleheads in here. But they say we don't have enough kids. We're below replacement rate, and I believe it. But I do see the couples go through. I do see the men and women who are together. And, of course, you see the alpha mom. You see that. But you also see the alpha dad. And, you know, it just, you know, just what they chose. You see them. You see the women dragging the men through there. You see the women who are following their men. I see it all. I get to see it all. I just sit back, take it all in. I'm like, okay, checking it out. You know what I mean? Just checking it out. So it can work, bro. It can work. When people say it's not worth it, I don't necessarily agree with that. You certainly don't want to get the wrong one. The correct woman, man, she'll 1000X your life. The wrong woman or the wrong man, ladies, for y'all out there, you get the wrong dude, they will absolutely destroy your life. Ladies, you get the wrong dude, you can find yourself in prison. You ain't going to beat the case like the diddler did. You have some dude set you up, have you sign the things. Next thing you know, the FBI knocking at your door, boom, 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 open up. Federal, you know what I mean? Federal marshals, open up. You know, local PD, open up. And you standing there stuck on stupid like, what's going on? This dude done got you propped up like the kingpin, queen pin. Got you sitting in jail because they was coming after him. The walls were closing in. He set you up because you fell in love with him. Got to be careful, ladies. Got to be careful. Guys, it can happen to you too. Got to be careful. I didn't see that. I know I had homies, man, like real ones, like dudes that was in the streets. One of my homies was like, yeah, as the story goes, feds came to the crib, knocked on the door, like, what's up? Like, hey, look. We ain't here for you. They knew his name, government name, everything. These are the feds, straight up FBI. I'm a special agent so-and-so. It's my partner, special agent so-and-so. Here are our credentials. We're not here for you. They knew his street name, legal name, everything, government name. They said, hey, man, just chill out. We're not here for you. All we need is that computer right there. Here's the warrant. All the paperwork's in order. We need that computer. That's your girlfriend's computer. Her name is so-and-so, this is what she's doing. And my people didn't even know. He was like, she's doing what? It's like, yeah, that's what she's doing. We know you don't have anything to do with it. We just need that computer. Is it okay we take that computer? He was like, I'll go get it for you. Like, no. We need to go grab it. Is it okay? He's like, yep, go right ahead. You know what I mean? They went and got it. They knew who he was. They knew what he was doing. Hey, we ain't here for you. So ain't no telling what she could have, would have, should have said. Could have been trying to set him up. The feds was like, man, we know this ain't you. This ain't even your thing, bro. This ain't your lane. He was like, yeah, go ahead and take that computer, bro. You know what I mean? Because trust me, if they was after him, boy, they would have had him that day because he had it stacked up. It was stacked up right that day. They would have had him. They would have had him, boy. He had enough birds in there, boy, to start a pet shop. But they weren't there for him. And they probably knew what he had, and they probably knew about the work. Didn't even care. So be careful who y'all choose, guys. Be careful who y'all choose. So let's get into it, man. Sharing My Truth, the podcast. Again, I hope to hear from these sisters. They're in UK. I believe they're in UK. And with the time difference and everything, I don't think I'm going to hear from them until tomorrow. I sent the message 2 hours ago. I'll probably wake up to a message from them tomorrow, with the time change, hopefully. And then we can work something out and, hopefully we'll be able to get that conversation going. And, just kind of cross-pollinate our audiences and stuff like that. Because they have some good topics. And again, they're coming strictly from a female perspective, which I like. And they're keeping it real. We're definitely going to be reacting to more of their content. I promise you that. So they're still going to, this is part 2. They were talking to that brother, Jeff St. James, I believe his name is. And it was just getting good when we had to sign off yesterday. He was starting to really get into it. So let's definitely get back to that. Let me pull up the interview. Looks like it's an hour and 10-minute interview. I don't know how far we'll get. I'm hoping to get at least 75%, maybe 80% through it. There's one part in particular that I definitely want to hear. And I haven't watched this video. The part I'm talking about was on someone else's podcast. I saw a clip and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be talking about dude today. So definitely going to stay on until we hear that clip. And it seems to me that, Brother Jeff is really dropping some gems. It's like, yo, this is what it is. This is the reality for men. And the young men today, and shit, some of us old dudes, like, we're not dealing with it. I know for a fact that when, you get women, like I say, if women are interested in you, they will put themselves in your universe. They will put themselves in your orbit, I should say. And, they'll be right there letting you know what time it is and doing little things to get your attention or whatever. Some will just come right out. We should do this. And my whole thing is no, absolutely not. Not interested. Not even thinking about that right now. Because we ain't talking about just smashing. Like, if it's just that, like just some cutie wants to go do some bad things, great. We can go do that. But I'm talking about the ones, you can tell when they want a relationship. It's like, not doing it. Well, why not? Single father. My priority right now is my daughter. I'm not worried about it. I'm so proud of my little girl. Man, we just got finished. She made pancakes and bacon. This little girl would eat pancakes every day if you let her. So when I got home, she was beginning to make pancakes. Like, what you doing? Somebody makes pancakes. You want to make some bacon? I bought you some bacon yesterday because she loves bacon. Showed her how to make bacon. We set the grill up. And she's already made her own pancakes, but I had to show her how, like when you're making your pancakes, don't put everything and just try to whip it all up. Now, mix your ingredients slowly as you go. So take your oil, take your egg, take your milk and put a little vanilla in there. Then mix that up first. Once you get that good, then dump in your powder, mix that up, show her how to get it off the sides of the mixing bowl and all that. Mix it up good, get all the lumps out. Grill was already going, nice, ready to go. And then she made these great big pancakes, bro. Like pancake grande, And I'm like, you gonna eat all that? And she did. She ate all of it. So she did a good job. She made her pancakes. I'm so proud of her. So that's my priority is my daughter. Her last 2 years of high school, I want to make sure that I'm right there so we can talk about the dating stuff. So we can talk about how this works and that works and what she should and shouldn't do and all this kind of stuff, and why. Most importantly, why. A lot of parents, like, they talk to their kids, they ain't talking to their kids, they're lecturing their kids, they're threatening their kids, and they're not telling them why. And, you tell some kid not to do something, you don't really explain to them why, they're going to sit there like, I really want to do it. This sounds like fun. You didn't say it wasn't fun. You just told me I can't do it. So I'm going to do it behind your back. Simple as that. I'm going to do it behind your back. So, for those of you who are going to get kids, want to be a parent one day, it's great. You should do it. For those of you who are single parents now, just make sure you let your kids know, bro, because trust me, they can get it from you or they can get it from somebody else. Other people are in their ear. So you need to be sitting there because you're their parent and they know, like, mom and dad ain't going to steer me wrong. Let me listen to mom and dad. Forget what Pookie and Tyrone and Ray Ray talking about. Ain't nobody worried about what Ray Ray and them is doing. I'm going to listen to dad. I'm going to listen to mom. So that's what it is. So let's get to it. My bad for being long-winded there, but wanted to put that out there for the parents and those soon-to-be parents or one day will be parents. But let's get back to this conversation. And I'm definitely going to be putting my 2, 3, 4, and 5 cents in as we go along. So, yeah, let's get to it.
Welcome to Sharing My Truth with Mel and Susie, the uncensored version, where we bear it all.
We do.
All right, I'm gonna jump
and hello,
ahead.
everyone, and welcome back to Sharing My
Jump
Truth.
ahead, guys.
This episode bio. Yeah. And we love ya.
Yeah, so it looks like they just do original podcasting style, just their voice for that long intro, and then they get into the interview. So here's the interview here.
Enjoy.
Speak to you next time.
So what was the first reaction when you saw the show Adolescence, which is like based in self-consider?
I understand.
Yeah. Adolescence. My bad for stopping it right away. Adolescence. I don't know if you guys saw it. It was on Netflix. I forget the name of the actor behind it. He executive produced and directed. It's the guy who was in Snatch. He played Tommy. Snatch is my favorite movie right there. This is the guy who played Tommy. He's just done a bunch of stuff. He's a well-known actor. I forget his name. They did this thing and they tried to make it out to be this big red pill. This is what the incels are like. This is the red pill world. They made it out to be that, right? In the run-up, in the promotion. That thing had nothing to do with RP. Nothing. Other than a couple terms that they talked about, it was very vague in the movie. It's a series, really. And to me, it almost seemed like the red pill thing was an afterthought. Maybe it went back and, kind of did some more shots and then re-edited the movie so they can talk about this stuff. It wasn't manosphere stuff. It wasn't the red pill as most people know it. What it was a version of RP that I guess folks out there who are afraid of it, don't know anything about it, think it is. That's what it was. The series itself was okay. It tackled some very serious subject matter. It's really about mental health, not necessarily about the RP world, in my opinion. Good acting. I think they did a good job, telling the story that they wanted to tell. It was a good watch. If you haven't seen it, check it out. But it wasn't like it's not gonna floor you. It's not one of those things where it's great. It's just a family dealing with a tragedy and coming to terms with the things that kids today can do. And to me, that's what it was about. It was just them coming to terms with a horrific event, right? So let's listen to what he has to say.
And why it's extremely appealing. I understand why it's going viral. I understand why I believe it's the 3rd most watched show on Netflix history after being out for such a short amount of time, which is crazy. But it's wildly off in most ways in which they try to categorize what's actually going on. I'm being honest with you. And the problem with it is several things. But the first is they clearly did not use an expert on incel culture. Any expert go on YouTube when you get the chance and type in incel experts review Adolescence.
Mm-hmm.
And see all the data they have in comparison to how the show tried to cover it to a degree. And it was only 4 episodes, so there was only but so much, of course, that they could do. But I'm going to tell you one thing that I loved and I think they did get right. And it was very subtle. And I don't know if people actually picked it up enough. The first is when the 2 detectives were walking through the school.
Yeah.
And they're trying to engage with the students. And it's very clear, like they're just missing it. Students aren't saying anything. Nobody's really wanting to work with them. Like they're just getting all this resistance. They're not really getting anywhere in terms of their investigation. And the lead detective, after he talks with his son, and his son talks about the red pill, and he's asking his son, did you see the Matrix? And his son's like, what's the Matrix? Like, what are you talking like? And they captured the confusion of people who aren't in it.
Yes.
Don't do this for a living, who aren't psychologists, who aren't psychiatrists, who aren't in mental health, who aren't in these spaces. Even people who are talking about it all the time. If you're not in it, you don't actually get it. When I talked about that mountaintop thing, you don't know what it's like to be considered invisible and useless to both men and women.
Yo, dude is cooking. Dude is cooking. And I do know the part he's talking about. And yes, it was very subtle, but I did get it at the time. I did. It's just so subtle and it's so, you know, I've had this conversation with people in real life, and they will, we'll talk about it. And I'm like, well, this is what the manosphere is all about, and this is what the red pill is talking about, and this is what, this is what the blue pill, like mainstream media, this is what that means, and this is the black pill or whatever. I don't get into all the other ones. I just, just red, black, blue, and when I have those conversations with people, they're like, oh, I thought it was this, or people will say stuff to me like, I can tell you haven't really gone down this particular rabbit hole, have you? Like, well, no, but I've seen these clips and this and that. I'm like, okay. And it'll be the Fresh and Fit stuff or the whatever podcast stuff, or it'll be like the Tates. And then like, well, let me show you a clip. And I'll show them a clip. And then they'll look at that and they're like, oh, I'd never seen that. And I'm like, yeah. 30 minutes later, the clip you saw comes up. But this is what they were talking about. This is the main meat of it. And they're like, oh, see, fireworks, man. People already popping their fireworks. And with my headphones on, it sounded like a muffled gunshot, bro. Right away, I looked to my weapon like, bro, let me go get something bigger. But he's 100% correct. And I guarantee you, these ladies, they don't know what's going on in the manosphere. They're not going to sit there and consume the content. And the women who do consume the content, they understand. Those are the women like, nah, and they get called pick-me's and this and that. But it's like, nah, that's not what it's about. So shout out to him for saying that. And I can't wait to see how this plays out. And listening to him, Brother Pitney, this dude may have Rollo's book. This guy might know who Rollo Tomasi is. He may have gone and done a real deep dive on the manosphere on Red Pill. He may have read, this Rich Cooper's book. He might have read Myron's book, Women Deserve Less. He might have read Unplugged Alpha. You know what I mean? So this dude, and he might have done it for professional reasons. So he knows how to, help the people who are paying him to help them get through this. So, if I ever get a chance to talk to the brother, I'm going to ask him.
You don't get it. You don't know that feeling. I don't care if you're the most unattractive. If you saw the show, what was it? My 400, 500 pound life or something like that,
Right.
with these people, where they got to get cranes and break down doors to move these people. Why all these women got men?
What? Great question. I've always
Because she's still, as a woman by default, she's still going to have value with some man.
wow.
But at a certain age.
She's still, but again, if the first 60 years of you living, you're seen as valuable to somebody, that matters. Versus in comparison, you can go your entire life and be considered a genetic dead end.
That is actually so interesting.
Yeah.
So on the show, these are lead detectives whose job it is to learn, to question, think of things on multiple levels. And they had no idea that there's a subculture of bullying and ostracization amongst not just boys doing this to each other, but on social media, other people who you may not even know also saying things about you, also targeting you. And it's not just the bullying and the tactics, it's also the shaming, it's also the rejection, it's also being seen as invisible. And it's a very, very, very hard way. It's a very hard concept to try to describe to people who, for most of their life, or they have yet to experience what it means to be invisible since they were 14 years old.
It's impossible, in my opinion, for a woman in our world, like in the first world, like the Western world, it's impossible for a woman, any woman, to truly understand what it is to be invisible. It's impossible, because every woman in our world has been seen by someone, by lots of people. Hold on a second. Yeah, bro. Like I said, I don't like Independence Day, bro. Fireworks, don't like them. So, when I talk to women about this, they'll say, "Well, I know what it's like." I'm like, "You have no clue. I don't know what it's like. I've never been invisible. I've never in my life been invisible. There's always someone wants to holler at me. I got this little minimum wage job where I'm trying to be invisible. I just want to go in here, do what I do, and leave. And I can't come to work without, 5 or 6 of my coworkers come up hollering my name, running up to meet me. Oh, I heard all about you. Just want to come down and say hello. Who are you? I'm trying to be invisible here. Right? I don't think any woman can grasp that. I mean, and there are men out here who can tell you what it's like, bro, being invisible. My homie, Manny, down here in Tampa with us. Like, he used to be obese, man. He used to be alcoholic, bro, obese, wasn't doing nothing with his life. And he was like, bro, no one saw me, man. He lost all the weight. He's a top tier networker now, out here busting his butt, man, like working. He's has his own little hustles, but he's also building his own businesses, and he's still managing the network and do everything, going out to bars and hanging out, not drinking. Can you imagine you're former alcoholic and you're at a bar? And bro, he'll, it's not even tempted. The willpower, man, the intestinal fortitude that this man has. And he was invisible. He ain't invisible now, but he was once invisible. So I don't think women can truly understand what it is to be invisible.
Right. Yeah.
They don't know what that feeling is. And I thought the show did a really good job of the parents didn't see it.
Yeah.
The detectives didn't know it. But the second piece I thought they got really great was when they found out, oh snap, the kid's being targeted, the kid's being bullied. The victim apparently was a contributing member of this, and she was leading the charge. And the things that she would say and the viciousness of how they were treating this boy, I'm not going to say what he did was justified. Spoiler alert for those who didn't watch the show. If you didn't, it's your fault by now.
Yeah, exactly.
But the callous response that the woman investigator had when he tried to bring it to her attention, like, I think there's more that's going on with this case. And she said, I just want the attention to be on the victim, on the girl. And what I would suggest is there were 2 victims. It's just that one died.
Right.
One lost their life and one lost their freedom potentially for the rest of their lives. And what happens is that small little snippet is an example of the larger pool of what's going on. Yes, he did something wrong. Yes, he's a murderer. Yes, he needs to be incarcerated. I agree with all of that, obviously. But the environment that created someone like that, we're so oblivious to the realities and perspectives of what young boys and men are going through. You don't get it that for many men, they don't see feminism. Doesn't matter if they don't have the great working definition of it. Their experience of all these people who claim that identity, you don't actually care about equality. That's a woman advocacy movement, or at least was up until recent debates about who can or can't be a woman. But prior to this debate, it's always been, for many people, and particularly many men, it's more so a women advocacy program, which is totally fine. But you cannot say that you care about men and that you're advocating for equality. And I'm going to list these things off, and I wrote them down to make sure I don't forget it.
Before he gets into his list, bro, he's cooking. This brother, he's coming out swinging. Don DeMarco. This third wave feminism is really about female superiority. That's a fact. You look what happened with this verdict with Sean Combs, and everyone is talking about, you know, it just lets all of the women down and all this kind of stuff. And you know, we're gonna get into the Sean Combs thing towards the end, but here's the thing, bro. You go to court over this thing, and the court of law, like the jury of peers, is like, yeah, man, y'all just freaky. That's what it boiled down to. Like, y'all just freaky. You know, the government did what they could to pull something together, but like, man, y'all know this dude freaky. Y'all with this dude. Y'all did freaky stuff. It is what it is. Y'all just freaky. But Sean Combs is a bad guy, which I believe he is. But, you know, in this situation like that, Sean Combs is a bad guy, but he's the bad guy all by himself. He made everybody else do this stuff. All these other grown people, he made them do this. And I don't buy that. I don't buy that. And that's where we at now. It's this third wave feminism, bro. It draws a line and forces you to stand on one side. Democrats learned the hard way. Can't win an election without men. And you're going to sit here and degrade men and talk trash about men and, you know, welcome everyone but men. Right. And well, the Democrats didn't want to welcome, you know, white straight men, but they welcomed everybody else. You lose an election. You lose an election to a dude that has no business, right, at an election at that level. Right. And that's what happened, because this is where we are. There's no more rights to fight for. Women have more rights and privileges than men do. I'm talking about ingrained in law. Myron Gaines talks about this all the time. When you point this out to women, they get mad. Like, what are you talking about? You have more rights and privileges enshrined in law than I do. And they turn it to the patriarchy and all this other kind of stuff. I'm like, but that's not what we're talking about here. You name one right or privilege that I have as a man that you don't have as a woman. Can't be done, because it doesn't exist. Right? It does not exist. So let's listen to what he has to sign off. I mean, yeah, dude is cooking with fresh grease, bro. He is cooking. I'm gonna go ahead and let him cook. We're gonna sit back and we're gonna just listen to this.
You don't care about mandatory paternity tests. You don't care about paternity fraud. You don't care about male suicide rates. You don't care about equalizing hard, laborious jobs outside. You don't want to equalize that. You don't care about what happens to people that are falsely accused, which is almost always exclusively men. You don't actually care about the declining school performance, the rise in ADHD diagnosis, and the psychiatric medication that comes from it. You don't care about the lack of homeless shelters for men. You don't care about the weaponization of the family court, the equal custodial rights, reproductive say for men, reduction in child support and alimony, pathologizing of just men and masculinity in general, negative attitudes towards even men that want a nuclear family. You don't think or care about any of these things. And I'm not even saying it's just the feminists that don't care about it.
Nobody
I'm
has.
saying most people who don't do what I do don't care about this at all.
Down goes feminism. Down goes feminism. This dude just knocked out feminism right there, bro. He just smashed it, bro. Smashed it. Smashed it, bro. Winner and new world champion, Jeff St. James.
You're creating, and we talked about this 80-20 rule. What's happening to the 80%? You don't care.
Not good.
And the beauty is, if I just get the man I want, if I just get the partner I want, if I just I don't care about what's happening with men. Let's bring the attention back to women. That's what the detective did in that show.
Right.
And that is what society and Western cultures is unfortunately like. Most people only care about males or boys or men if they are their brother, their son, or their father, or their uncle, or their close friend. This society, in the quest to be fair to women, to improve their rights, allowed the worst representatives to take it to its furthest extreme.
Right.
When we talk so much about misogyny, most women can't tell you what the term is for a strong distaste and hatred for men.
Misandry.
What's the term? What's
Misandry.
the misandry? Being a misandrist. Most men's experiences that we keep labeling as incels, we keep labeling as misogynists. Their experiences in coworker situations, in the schools, dating, on dating apps, is that a lot of women are either misandrous or they're so reductionistic of men that if you don't have the money, you have no say and you need to shut up. And even if you do have the money, it's happy wife, happy life once I'm in your life.
Yeah.
Damn, he just killed it, bro. But everything he says is a fact, man. And it's, you have a young woman, you have an older woman. You have the older woman who was married. She won the game. She was married, had her family. I'm assuming, you know, got her husband. She won. You got the young woman who's single, on her way to be a boss babe or whatever. And the older woman is like, yeah, I feel it. The younger woman is quiet, because that's what it is. When I'm at work, right, and then, I mean, it's kind of cool to, you know, to get out. It's not kind of cool. It's very good to get off the sofa, guys. I was just wasting away down here on my sofa, you know, go outside to take my daughter to school and then go out again to pick her up. I wasn't doing nothing. You know what I mean? I cut down on myself when things got a little rough. You know, people go through that. You feel sorry for yourself, but, you know, you pull yourself up, you get out there. They talking about interacting within the workplace. Not a lot of young people work with this company that I see. A lot of older people. That's another thing too, man. Old folks are working multiple jobs. So, but I get it. Like, when I am definitely on my P's and Q's while working, I'm on my P's and Q's. And then, you know, you have to deal with the public. You see the boss babes, you see the misandries. Like, you can see these women who have nothing but contempt for men. It's not all women. In fact, it's a small minority, but you see them. I see one or two, maybe three of them a shift. And they get so frustrated when they have to come to a man. You see them looking around trying to find a female. They can't, but they need to get their problem solved. So they'll come over to the man. And you help them out. And it's almost like pulling teeth to get them to just accept your help. I'm a girl boss. I can do everything. Oh, you can't seem to do this. Some woman had a problem with the seatbelt. It was tangled a little bit, and she couldn't get the seatbelt to feed through. She finally asked me to help. Now, this is a mother. You know, I think she was a single mom, but, you know, like, dad wasn't there. It was just her and her daughter. Her daughter was like a preteen. And she's like, I'm having a problem with this. And she's talking. I go and give it a little tug. Boom, it's done. And she's like, you don't tell me you've already fixed that. Like, yeah. Anything else? And then, like, the little girl's laughing, and, you know, I kind of just break the tension, make a joke about, it's not you, it's you know, Chevy, you know, they did this to make you look bad, you know, it's whatever. We all start laughing. I walk away. But she was so upset that she struggled for 5-10 minutes with this thing, and some man comes along, and then within a matter of seconds, it's fixed. It's fixed. Wasn't a magic trick or nothing. I'm stronger than you. That's all it boils down to. My old ass, I'm strong. I'm still stronger than you. Testosterone. You don't have as much as I do. I got a lot. You know, unfortunately, these younger men, they don't have a lot. She probably got more testosterone than these soy boys in it coming up now. But anyway, let's get back to it.
I done told my wife, we joke around about it all the time. When we're amongst other couples and friends, she sarcastically say all the time, the one thing I appreciate about Jeff more than anything is he's the same exact person in home as he is in public. Right. He doesn't change. Mm-hmm. So if I'm going to say no, I'm going to say no. If I'm going to disagree, I'm going to disagree. And men not going through the natural maturation process as teenagers, as early adults, because they literally don't have the opportunity to with women. We can't be shocked anymore that there's an environment that's festering of boys and young men who unfortunately have a strong distaste. And I would argue, not even for women in general, women in the Western cultures and countries.
Yeah.
This is why they're running to the other countries and cultures where men are at least still seen as valuable, relevant, important.
No, I think
So, yeah,
they're all very
yeah,
good
yeah.
points.
Yeah.
I think that like anything in the West, to redress any imbalance in anything, we've had to
Mhm.
go to some crazy level to the other side and
Yeah.
come to a middle thing. And why are we so surprised? Why do we have to have shows like Adolescence that, quite frankly, are pretty late in the game in
Mhm.
terms of culture? We're very
Mhm.
late in the game. And like you said, I talk to quite a lot of my friends, who are all parents, and they had no idea I knew about it because I'm doing this podcast and I see these comments all the time, and I was very aware of it. I've read a lot about it. They had no idea about it. And I'm like, you have teenage children and young adult children. How do you not know? How
Mhm.
are you that ill-informed? I agree
What?
with you. To
You
me,
know what's crazy?
I'll tell you how you don't know as a parent. You don't ask. Simple as that. You don't ask. You're not paying attention. My daughter right now is on her phone, on social media with her friends. She uses emoji. We talked about that. She doesn't have any pictures of herself online. Um, we talked about the whole taking pictures thing. And it's ingrained. She's very, very careful. Now, she's young. I'm sure she's made mistakes. I'm sure there's a couple pictures out there somewhere. Maybe some friends took some pictures of her school, whatever. But she's very, very cautious. Why? Because I asked her about it and we talked about it. I know what she's into. She watches anime. I know all of her channels. I can pick up my phone right now and see what she's doing online right now. So parents need to do that. If you're not paying attention to what's going on in your kid's life, bro, you will miss it. You'll miss everything. My parents had no idea what I was doing when I was 14, 15, 16 years old. They had no idea the kind of cases, right? The kind of crimes I was committing. The how late I was out. I played my parents against each other. Mom over here in one house, dad over here in another house. It was easy. They didn't communicate. It was easy for me to play them against each other. Tell mom I'm with dad and then do the vice versa. Hey, dad, I'm with mom. And where was I? Wherever I wanted to be. I was a junior in high school. Me, my cousin, and some of our friends decided to drive to South Carolina. Drove down to South Carolina, man. No one knew we was gone. We lived in Cincinnati, Ohio. We drove all the way to South Carolina and back. No one knew. Right? We were minors. So if you're not talking to your kids, if you're not involved in your kids' life, man, you ain't gonna know shit. So this is how you had that Columbine thing. Them boys was stacking arms, making bombs. You know what I mean? Am I allowed to say that on YouTube? Making devices in the house, and the mother's knocking on the door. You know what I mean? Dylan, what's going on in there? What you mean? What's going? Stay out of my room, mom. Nah, we kicking that door in, bro. What's wrong with you? What's this? What's that smell? What's all this? That never should have happened. Right? And she's going around doing TED Talks now, talking about woulda, coulda, shoulda. Like, she is at fault. Them boys shouldn't have made it out the house, let alone all the way to the school, whatever. So you gotta get involved, man. You gotta ask. That's the thing with being a parent, bro. You gotta, if necessary, force your way into your child's life. Find out who they talking to, who their friends are, what are they doing, what are they thinking, what's going on. Right? You don't want to be that father who has a 15, 16-year-old daughter at the Diddler's party. Right? Talking about they done gave me something, put something in my drink, and now I'm in a room with Jay-Z, Beyonce, and the Diddler, and they had the camera going and all this, da-da-da-da-da. Like, where's that child's parent? That little girl did what other little kids do, man. They played the parents against each other so they can go do what they want to do. And if it happens, bro, you messed up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but you want to know what's crazy? When you're in a market and environment where both parents got to work long hours,
Mhm.
and both parents are out of the home for extended periods of time, and both parents have to figure out so much, and you don't even have one parent that's like really super involved, versus they both are kind of got 40-hour work schedules, and one may have to do additional overtime, and the cost of living is exploding. It's harder than ever before.
It's got a good point.
Oh yeah.
For parents, men and women, fathers and mothers, it's a lot harder now. We are living in an area in New Jersey where our property taxes per month is the cost of most people rent across the world.
Yeah. Close.
Where our daycare is more than the cost for daycare for 1 to 2 kids is the equivalent of what 50 to 60% of people in the world make.
Yeah, close.
So it's kind of difficult to be super duper involved and actually know what's going. You know what she saw? My son's home. He turns the light off when I tell him to turn the light off, and he doesn't get in trouble. He goes to school every day. He gets good grades. Parents are just surviving. Mothers, fathers, people are just trying to figure this. You know what I'm saying? Like this is. I'm not saying it's a complete. That like there's no. They get no fault. They get no blame. I'm just saying that the context for what we're in is what's also creating this type of dynamic and environment. So it's. And then lastly, I meant to say, the dynamic. Why is this exploding? And why is this so big in the UK? And why are these government officials getting all involved in this? I'm gonna tell you this right now. If you are a young woman or woman, period, and you're thinking about, well, oh my gosh, this incel thing, and all these men want to harm me and hurt me and do this or do that. A huge percentage of the boys and men that feel that way, there's a reason why they're leading the statistics of being 4 times more likely to take their own life.
Right.
They're actually far more of a danger to themselves
Than to anybody else.
even in a relationship. You take a woman who's in a relationship with a man and a relationship with a woman, her domestic violence rates is significantly higher with another woman than with a man.
Really?
DV rates are up. Divorce rates are up when same-sex relationships between 2 women than her with a man.
I know. It's the highest divorce rate is lesbian couples.
Yeah, and so is the DV rate.
What's the D?
They should be having the most orgasms. That's unbelievable.
Domestic violence.
Yeah,
DV rate.
Right.
Yeah.
And listen to what the young girl said. They should be having the most. But dude has a great point, though. I mean, he has an amazing point when he's talking about childcare. Here in Tampa, like you can expect to pay about $765 a week in childcare. A week, $765 a week, bro. A week. So yeah, you're gonna need to work that overtime in a second job just to afford childcare. And man, Drill's like, bro, you should get him on your podcast. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna reach out to him as well, bro. I'm gonna reach out to him. We might get lucky because this guy may go on to be the blue pill's answer to Kevin Samuels. At least in the black community, he might go on. He might wind up on the Breakfast Club one day. So I'm absolutely gonna reach out to him, brother Mandrill. Believe that. But it is difficult. I mean, fortunately, I'm in a position where I can work my schedule around my daughter. So I can take her to school every day. I can pick her up every day. We're home now. She's here now. Like I'm fortunate enough to where I can do that. But most, parents, even if they're in the same home, it's real difficult. It's real difficult at certain levels. You know what I mean? At the high level, man, they working from home and they making hundreds of thousands of dollars. Forget about it. They good. They got an au pair or a nanny or something like that. But when you get down here in the trenches, I mean, it's different, bro. Ain't nobody got money for that. Right now, when you gotta, take care of the car, take care of the house or the apartment, like pay all the bills, do all this other kind of stuff, get the food, and bro, it's hard out here, man. So yeah, there's enough blame to go around everybody.
So again, this show is so popular, it's so big, probably 250,000+ people are probably going to watch it. And now they're again adding to this narrative that the most unsafe you can be is dealing with and doing life with men or males. And what I'm arguing is a huge percentage of them end up taking their own life. A very, very small percentage of them, if they get successful enough, end up finding a suitable partner, or they're going abroad to find a woman who can meet their needs. So it's not to say that there's violence between men and women that doesn't exist. Of course it's a thing. All I'm suggesting is that the show, there may be ulterior motives for why the show is being pushed. And whenever politicians or celebrities or anybody who's not a normal person jumps in on a wave, always be wary of what's the thing that they're pushing and what's the policy that's going to come down as a result of this. Is this going to...
Yeah, when they made that movie, man, they had the Tate boys on their mind. I mean, one of the lines from the movie is like, "Oh, I hope it's not that Andrew Tate shite." You know, man, it's just so stupid. It's not. It's not about the Tates, right? It's about these young boys, these young men looking for father figures, looking for role models, looking for someone to guide them, looking for mentors. But they want to just talk about, oh, Andrew Tate, and it shouldn't be about the boys. It should be about the girls. They recently had a sweep here in Tampa. U.S. Marshals came down and they worked in conjunction with local law enforcement here in Central Florida, like Tampa, Clearwater, St. Pete, and all the areas around here. And they did this sweep where they were going after at-risk children, like runaways and stuff like that. And I forget the number of kids that they were trying to get, but they wound up getting like 60 out of 100 kids or something like that. And they were able to arrest some of the grown-ups who were with the kids. There was definitely some exploitation going on and stuff like that. But I'm sitting there watching the news coverage. And I'm like, this is great. You saved all these kids. You watch the news coverage, it's like, little girl got her, girls got their faces blurred. You got the pictures up. There's like girl. So you're going through trying to count all these people, like it's like 100 kids or whatever. And it's like girl, boy, girl, boy, girl. I'm like, what's going on? If you're going after 100 kids, you would think it would be pretty balanced gender-wise. Like, we don't get 50 boys and 50 girls. But it didn't seem that way. And I remember sitting back watching the story. I watched quite a few reports on this. It's like, damn, bro. And what about the little boys? This is where feminism gets dangerous. Everyone want to save the kids. We want to save all the kids, all of them. But why is it we're only talking about one gender? That was disturbing. That's here. And shout out to the U.S. Marshals. Shout out to local law enforcement, the sheriff department, and the police departments that put this whole operation together. Was resounding success. But where are the boys? Where are the little boys? And this is the message that people are trying to drive home. You hear this in mainstream media. You hear this. They're like, look, this is great. We want to help. We want to save the kids, but we want to save boys too. Well, what's all this focus on little girls? We want to save boys too.
Be a social media crackdown? Is this going to be a monitoring thing where people have to register their social ID numbers or something in order for them to even have access to a website or have access to the internet? I'm going to argue this. Prime time, it's perfect to push something like this in a political environment when Gen Z and some millennials between men and women are splitting further than they've ever been. And then you have a huge pool of women who are looking for explanations to justify why all these men are splintering off and voting differently than us, thinking differently than us, going their own way, not wanting to marry women. There's got to be some possibly be decision making. Hierarchy of what we're attracted to or not attracted to. It can't be us. It's got to be because they're all incels.
Right.
It's got to be because they just outright hate women. It can't possibly be because there's been an environment that's been telling them that we hate you. Can't possibly be that. It can't be society or culture or the colleges or liberal. It can't be any of those factors, or even how we treat the men who we think don't check off all about. It can't be none of that. It's got to be because of this Netflix series, and now we need a policy to deal with that.
Yeah.
That's the level of thinking that I want all of us to start to get better at when we watch anything on social media, anything on streaming services, because I would argue much of the things that's impacting us and influencing the quote unquote gender war is not even coming from in here. It's coming from what we're seeing on screens and on these computers. When I walk around in everyday life, men and women still open the door for each other.
Mm.
A woman's in trouble, men are still going to rush to help her.
Oh, well, I got a story about that one. I got something to tell y'all, bro.
Everybody sit down, please. It's story time. It's story time.
All right. So I'm in the garage. I'm at work. This must have been, I don't know, a few weeks ago. I noticed this woman coming into the garage. Now, you know, imagine you're at the airport, you know, you're coming down escalators or elevators or whatever, and you get to the double doors, and then boom, the doors open and the environment hits you, right? Anyone's ever been to Florida know what I'm talking about. You come outside, or if you've ever been to Vegas on a hot day or Palm Springs, the doors open, you step in, the environment, the heat just reaches out and grabs you. So sitting there, and this lady comes out. And she was obese, guys. There's no other way to say it. She was obese. She couldn't have been no more than 5'5". Had to be every bit 320, 350 pounds. Had to be. She could barely walk, bro. Like she really should have been like sitting down in a wheelchair. And I noticed in these wheelchairs, they have like these extras big wheelchairs now because Americans are so big now. But she was slowly making her way to the counter. Then she slowly made her way to her vehicle. And when I say slowly, bro, I'm talking 35, 45 minutes it took for her to get to her vehicle. Big person. She had one of the smallest vehicles that they have to offer, like little bitty car. And so eventually you hear her, she starts screaming, help, help. I mean, screaming, top of her lungs, screaming. Now, mind you, the whole time I've had one eye on her. I'm just kind of moving around and had one eye on her. She started screaming. I look over. I see it's her right away. Men start running. I mean, like people and like employees start running over towards her. Some customers, like guys who were just coming in to get their cars, they immediately start running. Matt, Uncle Saint. Again, all these people running over to her. I'm just... She's bent over with one hand on the car. No, I take it back. She's in the car with the door open and her foot out, kind of shoved in there, and they're running over there. And some lady who just happened to be walking next to me, headed towards her car, she was like, "Don't you hear that?" I'm like, "Hear what?" She's like, "The woman's screaming. Aren't you gonna go over there and help?" I'm like, no, I can see the woman. I see her. You see her? She's right there. The big lady. That's her. I see her. There's nothing wrong. There's 10 people over there right now. Right? And she's like, but she's screaming. You should go over there. I'm like, why? So I'm talking. We're still walking. Like she's walking towards her car, and I'm walking to go do what I need to do. And we're just having this conversation back and forth. I'm like, why should I go running over there? Clearly, there's nothing wrong with this lady. You look at it. Do you think there's anything wrong with her? But she's screaming. This woman, and it wasn't like we weren't arguing back and forth. Our voices weren't elevated. We were just talking like at a normal tone. I'm like, nah, she all right. There's nothing wrong with her. Right? And in my mind, I'm thinking, all she needs is to lose some weight. Like that lady really needs some loose weight. And my personal theory was she couldn't get a free upgrade. That's what took her so long with customer service in the first place. So she couldn't get the bigger vehicle for the smaller vehicle price. This is my theory. I don't know what happened. She couldn't get the bigger vehicle for the smaller vehicle price. The customer service people were like, we can upgrade you, and you're going to have to pay the difference in cost. So she takes the little car, gets into the car, and now we got this big commotion. Bro, law enforcement showed up. Paramedics showed up. It was a big thing. And then the first responders left after a while. They were there. Man, they had her hooked up to oxygen. They got her out of the car. They had to stand there for a minute, and they put her on the gurney, and they had to back up. And Bro, it was a big thing. They finally leave. She, you know, she was like, I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay. So they finally leave. 25 minutes later, she's screaming again. Only this time, I was walking that general direction. So when she started screaming, I had to deal with the situation. I was literally standing right there. I look over and they have a young manager run out and he's like, what should we do? Like, should I call 911? I'm like, yeah, call 911. I'm going to get the number to the airport, please. I'm going to go. So you stay with her, call 911. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to call airport police direct. And we're going to get her some assistance. The whole time I'm just mad. You know what I mean? I'm just mad. Like, here we go again. And paramedics show up after a while. I tell them, hey, it's the same situation as from before. She's in the same car. And you know, we're walking over there. And I'm like, hey, bro. And I was talking to one of the paramedics. I'm like, I'm just curious. Who pays for this? Like, does the person who was screaming help, do they pay? And the guy in charge I was talking to, he wouldn't answer the question. He just kept on walking. The guy that was in trail carrying all the gear, he walked up on me. He was like, taxpayers, bro. Taxpayers always pay. So law enforcement did come back. The paramedics came back for the second time. Same person, oxygen. They get the gurney and everything. They wound up putting her on the gurney. This time they put her in the vehicle. They put her in the ambulance and they drove her off, presumably to emergency room somewhere. We went to the vehicle. I had to look at the vehicle, make sure it was cool. It was cool. The vehicle didn't move. I mean, it didn't drive anywhere. It certainly moved. The shocks were going up and down. But there was nothing wrong with the vehicle. It was, put the vehicle back out there to be rented. And I went on about my business. And I was just sitting there thinking, the woman that I was walking next to was shocked that I didn't drop everything and go running to this person because they're screaming. It's a lady. She kept saying, but it's a lady. It's a lady. That's all she kept saying. She said, but it's a lady. She's screaming. Don't you want to go over there? Nah, I can see everything. Look, I was like, look, you can look. I was like, maybe she's stuck in the car. Oh no, they got her out. So no, I mean, what do you want me to do? But that's to his point. Women just make some noise and people are supposed to go rushing over there. I don't know. Maybe I should have gone over there. Y'all let me know, man. One's in the chat if I should have gone over there. A two in the chat if you agree with what I did. We got old Joe in the building, man. What is good, brother? What is good? Good to see you. Getting the sound effects together. But man, you want to talk, if you're doing something bad and you need a distraction, all you need is a lady to go outside and start screaming, help, bro. And everybody's going to run over there. Everyone's going to go, focus their attention over there. I mean, and if a man yells for help, will people go run and help? I wonder. Let's get back to the video.
Black man, a white man is hurt in some way, whoever the race of the person is, they're still going to try to intervene and help them. I'm trying to lift a heavy box. My white neighbor gonna come and lift it up. Somebody who's gay or trans, if they need help or support, it's still happening. Hate exists, I know that, but I'm telling you, the social media, the trends, what's going viral isn't actually 100% a reflection of what's actually happening in most of our lives. You're actually not walking around and most men are spitting at you, calling you names, attacking you. That's not happening in modernity, not in mass. The majority of a huge percentage of the men that's a threat, they're arrested, they got records.
No, absolutely. Like, I think obviously social media makes it look like
magnifies.
Everyone is out to get you, and that's why we're having so many problems.
Look, now adolescence, as true as it is about exposing something that a lot of people didn't know, what's the takeaway?
That this is happening everywhere.
This is happening everywhere. It's crazy. It's so much going. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. The U.S. and our thing of violence, we have the monopoly, it seems like, on school violence. It's insane. We're not using knives. We're using guns.
Yes.
And And much of it is in response to being bullied or being radicalized with some particular political or religious ideology. That's usually what it is. It doesn't make it any better,
Yeah.
but it's really not heavily connected. No, there is no significant data that shows that this is happening in mass. I'm telling you, if you went to the data and looked at UK stats of who's the primary groups doing the stabbings and the knifings, it's not who you saw on the show.
Right.
It's not who you saw. We don't have to go political or go into who is and who isn't doing. It's not who they showed on the show. You have a market of white males who feel so angry and disenfranchised and feeling like they're being blamed for everything, and they're not allowed to hold an opinion, not allowed to hold a view. And now you're shocked with the reactions and responses of what's coming. And it's not even all violent. There's just a noticeable shift. And in the end game, everybody can say, well, we're all going to lose in the end. The mountaintop is undefeated. Father Time is undefeated. Mother Nature's undefeated. The men, host 30, who can figure out how to get what they need in order, physically, emotionally, financially, they have the leverage. The most leverage a woman's going to have is when she's her fittest, youngest, most fertile self.
Of course.
100%. I say this all the time. I say this all the time because I hear so often, oh, women are the gatekeepers of sex. And you're like, they are when they're young. When they're young, but you start to, I think women sort of 30, 35, you start to sort of, it's not that you're not attractive, but you're not attractive to the same age as men, whereas men can look up or down or along.
You see how she doesn't quite get it. So, and I think it was Michael Certain who said it, and he was so right. And Rich Cooper, I think, said it as well. When women talk about this, when they're talking about men, like, well, when a woman gets over 35 or 40, she's no longer the gatekeeper. No one wants her physically, da-da-da-da-da. She's still not talking about the invisible men. She's talking about the men that she find attractive, the men that she would consider. That's who she's talking about. It's a married woman, and I get it. She just, say, well, I have my friends. 20, not even 10 minutes ago, he was saying, hey, they got the show with the people the women who weigh 800 pounds. They got to get a crane and move them from spot to spot and cut holes in the house to get them out of the house and get them in the house, get them back in the house again. These women, 800-pound women, got boyfriends. Right? So her whole argument falls apart on his face when she brings this up. Like, well, women get older and it's only the young women who get in this. Like, man, you crazy. This woman right here, if she wanted to, if she wasn't married, if married or not, doesn't matter. If she wanted to, she could go down to the local pub, because that's how they talk over there. She could go down to the local pub, and some dude will come out of that pub with her and smash her. Absolutely guarantee 100% it'll happen. She can make it happen. Now, here's the difference. Because she's older now, right? And, she's not as attractive as she was when she was 18 or 20 or whatever the case may be. She might have to ask 2 extra guys instead of the one dude right off rip, let's rock. She might have to ask 2 or 3 dudes, but guess what? She ain't going to have to ask 5. Right? Meanwhile, the invisible dude is still invisible to her, even if she wanted to go out and do that. So this is the thing that women just never grasp. Like, bro, you don't understand how horny dudes can work. Dudes will smash anything. Man, I know some Marines that, bro, if they'll smash the backyard fence if they can get an angle on it, bro. Shout out to the Devil Dogs.
Whereas women, the older we get, we can only look up in age or down in age. Mm-hmm. I always say to my husband, if I, God forbid we wouldn't get divorced, but if we got divorced, he could find anybody of any age. And it would be a younger woman. Absolutely be a younger woman.
You said he's a lawyer, right?
Yes, he's a lawyer. He can marry who he wants.
What are we talking about here?
Exactly. No issue.
There's be a lot.
Exactly.
There's be a lot. It don't matter how he look. It don't matter how he dress. When they hear lawyer and they hear widow, oh, he need food. He need.
Oh no, it's true. Whereas I'd have to marry an 8-year-old.
For sure.
And Michael would be like,
I'm also marrying an 80-year-old, by the way.
I'm not
That's my
saying there's
plan.
anything wrong with that, but
Here she go.
but it changes. I mean, we could obviously go on forever talking.
She doesn't have to marry an 80-year-old. And this is something that we understand in the manosphere, bro. The red pill dudes will tell you that woman does not have to marry an 80-year-old. But she would rather marry an 80-year-old who has money. You know, he has resources. He can provide experiences. He can keep her at the current lifestyle that she's accustomed to or better. She'd rather be with the 80-year-old than be with a guy who's 55 years old, making minimum wage, whatever it is, in the UK, right? Who's maybe sharing a flat with his mother or brother or somebody at a roommate. She's not going to go home with that guy and live that life. She would much rather be with the wealthy 80-year-old. And that's the part that our homie Jeff here ain't jump on. You got to jump on that part, bro. You got to jump on that part. This woman still has value, right? And there's 80% or more of the men out there would love to be with her. But she's saying, no, I got to marry an 80-year-old guy, right? And that's the whole, they just missed it, man. I hope they get back to me. I would love to talk to these sisters.
There's so much to talk about.
I know.
So
I
wanted.
wanted to go back for 1 second.
Yeah.
Did you finish all of your thoughts on the cheating? Because we may have skipped a bit.
I definitely prepped for this part because I figured this question.
Let's go. It'll be our last little segment of the show because we've already gone over an hour, which I love. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on this.
All right. So the main thing I'm going to say is I'm careful to avoid what's called a naturalist fallacy. And this is the false belief that because something is natural, it must be moral or good. So I just kind of put that out there as a qualifier with what I'm about to say. There's something called like a blank slate theory or socialization theory. And it's basically it's the debate about nature versus nurture.
Mm-hmm.
Most people who consider themselves feminists, they have a working presupposition or theory about human beings, men and women, and human sexuality. And their belief system is rooted in this. When you lean much more into nurture versus nature, anytime you see distinctions, differences, sociological reactions or responses for whatever reason between men or women, you're going to believe that you can socialize it out of them. And that's what it means is if you don't believe that there's biological, evolutionary hardwiring that's built into us to be attracted to desire, to do and behave in certain ways, you're going to believe that the sex that's not doing what you think they should be doing is because you can socialize them to now act like the other sex.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
All right. The reason why that's important with this topic and all others is because there is a version of femininity that believes any distinction, even when it comes to sex, is something that just has to be completely 100% socialized and changed out of men. And that as long as men start to behave, communicate, think, and act like women, they'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to sex, they'll insist that there is no innate psychological differences between men and women. They'll functionally believe that because they're psychologically the same, we should have the same expectations. This is the issue. There's physiological differences. And the physiological differences some are very minute, but then some are massive, with huge implications. These are some of the differences that I noted. And obviously, naturally, we know that there's differences between men and women, grip strength, speed, upper body strength versus lower body strength. We know this. Like, generally speaking, there's physiological differences, but there's physiological differences when sex occurs and when they have orgasm.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to have a question once I list these off. And the question is this, actually: do men and women experience sex And are the consequences they experience from said sex the same or different? These
More red pill talking points, just dressed up differently and presented differently, but still, men and women are different. Like testosterone versus, lots of testosterone versus no testosterone. Like, what women find attractive versus what men find attractive. The one thing that gets me that, a lot of women are kind of like, man, I can't believe guys really this horny. Like, when you like, I'm more like Michael Certain when it comes to, like, I use the social circle to my advantage. So I do know a lot of women. I'm cool with a lot of women. A lot of people like, man, you shouldn't be cool. Women don't be your friends. Like, man, are you kidding me? Like, women are, bro, that's access. You can get anywhere you need to get. Like the stuff that Michael Certain shit. Yeah, you show up with 10 dimes, you getting into whatever you trying to get into. You getting into the party, you getting on the boat, you getting in the mansion, you getting in the penthouse, right? You're getting into the VIP section. You got dimes, real dimes, bro, you the man. Anyway, when I'm talking to my female friends, it blows their mind. She's like, man, so as a guy, you could smash, 3-4 times a day, every day. Yeah. Not without even trying. That's not even, yeah. Like, and like if you could smash like 4 or 5 different women 3 times a day, every day. Like, yeah. There's some dudes that could do it. I would say the average guy can definitely make that happen. Yes. And she's like, y'all don't get it. I'm like, we are built differently. Because in her mind, she's thinking of this long, elaborate, the rose petals, the foreplay, and all this other kind of the cat and mouse game and this and that and going forever. Nah, no. There's going to be a lot of quickie action. You might do that 2 or 3 times with the different women, but the ones in your normal rotation, you're just going to be the, come on, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, action. But yeah, it's still going to happen. And they're just blown away by that. They just can't understand. Like, I can't believe that men will do. I'm like, what? Yes, all day. Like, what do you think is happening in Thailand, the Philippines, Colombia, the DR? What do you think is happening in Amsterdam in the red light district? Come on now. Brother Michael, what's good, Brother Michael? How you feeling, bro? What button are we going to push? There it is. Good to see you, fam. Hey, guys, like and subscribe. Hey, you guys see me putting in this referral link, right? So I want to explain this to y'all, just so y'all know what time it is. This referral link, StreamYard puts it in everyone's studio. So we put the link down here. If someone hits that link and gets a subscription to StreamYard or do something with StreamYard, the content creator, in this case me, will get like a $25 kickback. So I'm going to be dropping that link like in, in the chat. So don't think that that's the link to join the stream. That's just the link to join StreamYard. All right. Just so you guys know, I'm not trying to set nobody up, but they're like, hey, StreamYard was like, hey, you mind dropping this link? And it's a referral. And if someone gets the services, if they use our services, you get $25. I'm like, yeah, no problem. And I believe in StreamYard. I like StreamYard. OBS is better, but OBS is not as user-friendly as this platform. StreamYard is so user-friendly. That's why I like it. OBS, you can do so much more with it. And people like Mandrell, he uses both. He uses StreamYard and OBS and does all these things. Y'all know I'm not even, bro, don't have the time. Sorry. Like, and even our technical producer, audio, sound guy, editor, Izzy, when we do Spoken and Smoke, I'm like, bro, we don't need to use all that. You know what I mean? Because we will at some point do some live streams. Like, bro, we're just gonna use StreamYard to keep it easy, keep it pushing. But let's get back to the interview.
are the things that I noted that were different. Men tend to have higher sexual desire and are more accepting of casual, non-commitment based sex.
Boy, didn't I just say that?
Sex hormone amounts and patterns are different between male and females. The hypothalamus, which is the region of the brain involved in sexual activity, is both larger and more sensitive to testosterone.
Mm-hmm.
Men tend to experience quicker and more intense sexual arousal and orgasms compared to women. Research shows that women's sexual desire has more variables and is influenced by factors like self-esteem, relationships, emotions, and how they feel about their bodies, the relationship and overall emotional state, social consequences of clear communication of their desires in the domains of sex, especially sexually. So think of it this way, because that one could be a little bit confusing. If men were bluntly or straightforwardly honest about how often they think about sex, about the different ways that they think about sex, about the different types of women that they want to experience in terms of thinking about sex, if they were honest about how they felt sexually, are they rewarded for their honesty?
Nope. Adidas all day. I dream about sex, bro. That's it. Adidas. That's what we used to clown, back in the day. You wearing Adidas? Yeah, all day I think about sex.
No.
And then lastly,
That was quick.
reproduction evolutionary drives for men or women. You are the product of thousands, if not tens of thousands of years of one side of a person or one set group trying to survive and procreate and mate select in a certain way. And the other group, you're the product of a person people who kept sowing their seed.
Mhm.
And the question is going to be like, well, wait a minute. If there's all of these evolutionary, biological, physiological differences, and men and women clearly don't even experience sex, let alone orgasms in the same way, I don't know. Actually, I do know, but I'm just saying it facetiously. I don't know that in the quest to be like men, that's actually been a net benefit to most women, especially after 40, 50 years of this experiment. That doesn't mean that men are justified to cheat. It seems to suggest that at least their biological hardwiring has designed them to better be able to be okay with doing it.
Right. I mean, I totally agree with that. Like, men are built to sex. And women are.
We're both built to have sex, but men are better built to do meaningless sex.
Right.
What came with the sexual revolution and liberation, we have to acknowledge, was the opening the door for loveless sex.
Mm-hmm. Well, men are built to populate the earth.
For commitment-less sex.
Mm-hmm.
And men are biologically hardwired to be better built with doing that on a regular basis. And nothing feels like wrong for him to do it. He doesn't have to know your name.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have to know anything about you. He just has to find you attractive. There's so many more social cues. There's so many more cues that a woman is this safe? Is if something happens, is he going to harm me in some way? There's so many other things that's innate in there. No one had to tell her these things. And so for me, it's less about whether it's right or wrong. And it's more about, in the quest to be progressive and modern and this and that, are we ignoring biological reality at the potential risk and demise of women? I would argue.
Bro, what feminism, shout out to what he's saying. I agree with what he's saying and it makes sense. So this brother right over here, he know what he's talking about. Modern femininity, modern feminism, right? Modern feminism and the hookup culture and this open way of doing business for women, right? Like you said, men are better suited for meaningless sex, but it's always been different with women. They got more to consider. Like, they get pregnant, they have to carry that child. They're going to be vulnerable when they carry that child. They need the provisions. We all know the stories, right? But today's woman, bro, let me tell y'all a little something. I mean, how many of y'all have had one night stands? I'm sure a bunch of hands will go up, but how many times have you had a one night stand with a woman twice in a situation where you didn't remember her from the first one night stand and she didn't remember you? So y'all have two one night stands. That's where we are now. That happens. Hey, bro, quick story. I'm San Diego, hollering at somebody, blah, blah. I had came down to San Diego years before with some friends, just kind of hang out. It was the first time I went to San Diego, had a good trip, met some woman, boom, boom. It was great. Here we are 3 years later. I'm living in San Diego now, talking to this female. You know what I mean? Same thing. Almost the same game. Almost the same play. Like, I'm running my game. She running her game. She invites me back to the crib. right? We get back to the crib. None of it looked familiar to me. Boom, we do our thing, whatever. A few hours later, I'm about to go. I'm like, man, you cool? What's your number? I'm starting to type in her number, and it pops up in my phone. And once that happened, then I was like, oh, I've been here before. Oh. And I went through my pictures, and 3 years, prior, there she was. Like, man, this is the second time I done smashed her. Now, I didn't say nothing to her. Because she didn't remember me. At least she didn't let on that she remembered me. Right? So I'm like, man, I had a one-night stand with this chick twice. Now, if we were to bump into each other again, of course, we know each other now. So, I don't think we can get a hat trick out of it, but that's what we are right now. Women are getting down like men. They're getting down like men. Women are going out here smashing dudes, forgetting that they even smashed the dude, and then we'll run into the dude later. So things have definitely changed, and it's not good for our society as a whole, but it's definitely not good for women. Like this, we definitely need to look at what we're doing.
Argue that the greatest victims of this experiment that we've been doing, loveless, commitmentless sex, recreationally, number 3 on the list is the men who can't get access to it. Number 2 on the list are women who are single and can't find a suitable partner, who are looking for long-term commitment and monogamy in a market where the men who get the options don't have to give that.
Mhm.
Number 1 on the list is children. You don't even have to be a celebrity. You have guys that look like me whose experiences with women will rival kings and monarchs from previous times
Mhm.
before they turn 30 or 35. That's the reality. You're in a market where things are not equal. They're never going to be equal. Our equality starts and stops with our value as human beings. I'm not equal to another man. So what made you think like there's men who do way better than me, make way more money than me, is way more respected, and men that don't? We're not equal. We only are equal as human beings. Nothing else about what we got going on makes us equal. So when you try to be equal to a man and you try to dictate what's going to happen in this market, I'm going to be honest with you. You got 2 choices. Part of the other reason for why some men will cheat is because they don't have the option to do so. What's the reward for the guy that no woman is checking for? You don't have the option. You don't even have the option to cheat. No woman checking for you. You're not that attractive. You got lucky with getting with some woman who wanted to settle down or settled for you. And part of the reason why you're so faithful is because it's fairly easy when you don't have women that's constantly trying to poach you and steal you from your wife or girlfriend.
Sure.
Mm.
What about the men who are like actively, even if they aren't like, let's say not bad?
Mhm.
What about those men who are actively looking and like?
Well, she doesn't realize it. Damn near all men are looking to cheat. But what homeboy just said, like the bottom 80 dudes, if they do wind up catching themselves a woman, man, they don't have the option to cheat. If they had the option, they would more than likely do it. I mean, it's just ingrained in us. It's crazy like that, man. But they're not trying to mess up their situation. They know that they don't have an abundance mindset. They don't have a bunch of women out there, right? They ain't Tiger Woods, right? They ain't George Clooney, right? They ain't the Diddler. They ain't got them choices. But I say it all the time. I'm like, it's very few. Like when I talk to Jay Swans, we go back and forth all the time. I'm like, bro, it's very few men on this planet that, if tempted by a beautiful woman, would say no. Married men, I'm talking about. He would. He could say, well, I would. I'm like, bro, you ain't like everybody else. And then I start breaking it down. Like, you remember so-and-so and so-and-so when we was in the unit? You remember so-and-so and so-and-so when you was living in Sacramento when I came out there that one time? You remember so-and-so? It's like, bro, them dudes, they got a shot to smash, not even a dime. They got a shot to just smash a former dime. They gonna jump all over it. It's just one of those things, man. It's one of those things. It takes a lot of discipline to say no, right? A lot of discipline. And then the top tier dudes, it's easier for somebody at the top who got women trying to holler at them to say no. It's someone like me. It's easy for me to say no, bro. I ain't tripping because I know I can always get that back. But for a guy who you've gone your whole life, man, and you just made it into the candy store, he ain't gonna say no. He ain't gonna say no, bro. But let's listen to the rest of her point here. And again, you hear the echo and all that kind of stuff and the glitchiness. That's their microphone setup. I think their mics are too close. Her voice is going through her mic and the other mic, and then it's glitching and everything else.
Cheating is hard nowadays because people consider cheating as porn. People consider cheating as talking to someone else on social media. You know, there's a lot of layers of cheating nowadays.
Yeah. I would say this, and this is going to be funny because my group, we talk about this stuff all the time. As a woman, part of the reason for why it wasn't ultimately just your decision in the past was for this very reason. Because if you had to make it, let's say 100% of men cheated. 100% of men are going to cheat or have the capacity to cheat. 100%. And this question is, are you going to give one man 10 chances? Or are you going to give 10 men one chance? The amount of women who will say that they would I'm done after the first time. Every time I don't tolerate it. I don't this, I don't that. What I'm suggesting is going to sound kind of controversial. You only have 3 options when it comes to mates with men. The man who probably doesn't have the option to cheat, and the man who does, and the man who has the option to cheat. You have to make a decision of whether or not you're going to stay. There's men that probably will never cheat on you. They won't have the opportunity to. Ain't no women going to try. That woman go give him the time of day. He stays to. He plays video games all day. He don't go nowhere. He don't do nothing. He doesn't check all 8 of the 10 boxes that women are looking for. Chances are, or if he's extremely religious and extremely disciplined, and if you don't want the guy that most other women don't want, or if you don't want the guy that's ultra conservative or ultra religious, you got to deal with the men that potentially have the option to cheat. And then you have to decide between that group, is this the type of man that I'm willing to give my name to, give children to, marry, and stay with, even if something like this happens? That's the choices.
Myron Gaines, back when I was watching Fresh and Fit religiously, like when they first started, I guess 3 years ago now, like those first year and a half of the Fresh and Fit podcast when they were doing the after hours, Myron would say the exact same thing, different words now. I mean, just use different words. But Myron would tell these girls, like, look, you got this dude, he's a top tier guy, he's everything you wanted, he's 6'4", he's making $1 million a month, he's handsome, he's charming, he's compassionate, he loves kids, he loves animals, he takes hikes, blah, 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 the whole list. He has it all, right? Every woman that wants this guy. Now, you have a chance to be with this guy. He's going to marry you. Y'all going to have kids together. He's going to supply you with everything you need in life. You're going to have the jet-setting lifestyle, all that good stuff. Walking the red carpet, kids going to the finest schools. You got a chef. You got all this stuff. And he is going to smash some women every now and then. Now, you're going to let that man get away. Who are you going to replace him with? This is the kind of stuff, I'm paraphrasing, but this is what Myron would talk to these women about. Like, you need to think about it. The guy is rare. Right? Remember, that's when they first came out with, Myron and Fresh didn't come out with it, but the delusional calculator came out. Like, we just showed you how rare this dude is. If you get this guy, he loves you, y'all have kids, he makes you the main one. You're saying you're going to let him go because he's out here smashing somebody else, but he comes home to you all the time. And women are always like he just said, like a woman would rather give 10 chances or give one chance to 10 different men as opposed to give one man, the man that they really want, 10 chances. Again, feels before reals. That doesn't even make sense, right? That doesn't even make sense. Like, why would you do that to yourself, sis? What are you doing? 10 more bodies? You run through those 10 guys, they all mess up. So 10 more, 20 bodies now? You know, it's women just can't grasp that concept. It's like, hey man, dudes are gonna do what they do. He can lie to you about it, or y'all can come to an agreement like grown-ups. You don't think that Jackie Kennedy didn't know what her husband was doing? Right? You don't think that these women who were married to these powerful men throughout history didn't know what they was doing? Come on, now that's part of it. Now that doesn't mean that every man cheats. There is a dude out there who has all that stuff who will never cheat. But boy, oh boy, you want to talk about unicorn. That dude ain't a unicorn. That dude is a unicorn walking on a rainbow with a leprechaun on his shoulder. That's how rare that dude is.
The guy that you're probably 99% confident won't, and the guy that may or may not, and you got to decide if you're going to stay with. What's the guy? It's going to sound horrible, but what's the man that you're willing to saddle and set yourself up with to where either he doesn't do it, if he does, you'll stay, or he does, but you'll never know or find out about it? Cheating in private.
That's the only option, Mel.
Cheating it's cheating with play. Cheating with play. Like the whole point I'm making, it's a stark reality is you're in a modern world where the pool of men that you're even interested and attracted to, you have a global market of competition of women who also think he's attractive.
No, I agree. Like, it is a very weird place that we're in right now because people have so much opportunity to cheat. And in my experience, dealing with a lot of men through all ages, most of them cheat. And so it is very interesting to me when I see a man who doesn't cheat or has no interest in cheating. And that was like my ex who was seriously a very kind man. And he is, if I say so myself, he is one of the top guys. He's good looking,
very
he has a
handsome,
great
yeah.
job. He had no interest in cheating. But I
That's
think
because he had it.
well, I know, obviously, but I think he's abnormal. I don't think it had anything to do with me. I think it was his.
It usually, listen, it usually doesn't.
So she had the dude who had everything and didn't cheat and somehow let him go. Women do that too. And, you know, like she's the typical young woman, like she's putting herself out there little by little. If you pay attention, it's like, bro, she done smashed a lot. She's like, yeah, I've been with these guys and that. If I do say so myself, I get the top tier guys. Oh, we know that. We know that. You sounds like you had a dude who had everything and you didn't get married. And I'm pretty sure that's what you wanted. You wanted to be with this man. You want his last name. So what happened? Well, it turns out he wasn't cheating, but you accused him of cheating. Now he's done with you. Moved on to the next woman. Now what? And here's the thing: if that dude decides to double back, he can always come back and smash. And that's another thing too. Modern women, y'all so fast to let dudes hit. Now you let a dude hit. I mean, all right. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, I already hit. Bye. Right? And then they always talking about how men cheat, like it's with sex and it's men, they're smashing these people and men are cheating. Women cheat differently. And then women, they'll argue up and down like, well, I'm just flirting with this guy. I'm just getting attention from this guy. It's not the same. That is the exact same. You're getting what you want. You want the attention. You want to flirt. You want these guys to be worshiping you and all this kind of stuff, right? What does he want? He wants to smash. He wants to smash. He wants to smash a woman he won't even remember the next day. It's both. It's two types of cheating, right? So when you getting all this attention from strangers and you thirst trapping, you doing all this kind of stuff, and you're texting and they're sending you stuff and doing whatever you having these personal conversations and all that. That is the same as dude going out smashing chicks. This is my take on it, right? And Myron and Fresh have talked about this on the Fresh and Fit podcast. I'm pretty sure other people have talked about it. It's the same thing as cheating. Like, it's cheating. Like, like you get caught cheating. What's the woman want to know? The woman wants to know, do you love her? Oh, you cheating while you were having sex, but do you love her? Like, I don't know. I don't love her. I don't even know. Okay, cool. What's the dude want to know when you get caught with this relationship or whatever? The dude wants to know, did you sleep with him? She's like, no, I didn't sleep with him. I just got all his attention and clout and he thirst trapped and da-da-da-da-da. It's just the way men and women cheat. And the top tier dude is not going to tolerate that. He's certainly not going to tolerate you smashing somebody. But for you to have some guys out here who are just like your emotional crutch and y'all got this relationship where y'all talk all the time, y'all text all the time, she's getting what she wants. The dude is he just wants to smash, but then it's still it's cheating on both sides. I don't want to be the one with a woman who's spending the majority of her free time with some other dude and having this relationship. I don't want to be with her. Like, if that's the dude you want to be with, go be with him. No, I was just, you're so busy and you were doing this and he would listen to me. Like, nope. I don't want to deal with you. Because I'm one of those dudes, like, I'm not out here cheating. I'm blocking all this stuff that's coming at me. These women want to just throw it at me. Right? Women in relationships or whatever, they just want to get to me. And I'm saying no, and you over here taking all this attention and all this stuff from this dude, man, I'm through with you. That's cheating. Right? So it's just the way women look at it versus the way men look at it.
Because it still is his decision at the end of the day if he wants to do it, regardless of what you're going to do or not do. But you got to remember, he's still an ex.
Well, I
didn't.
But like,
No,
yeah,
what I'm saying is that didn't help him.
Right.
In the grand scheme of things,
Right,
that
you're right.
didn't ensure that you would stay.
You're right.
And that's the thing that I don't think.
So you
What's
might
the
as
best
well
way to
cheat, is
say
what
it?
he's saying. You might as well
Oh, just
smash
say it
it.
anyway. We can take it.
We'll see
Giggity.
from our audience, but yeah.
So many of the bad boys, so many of the cheaters, so many of the guys who constantly are running through women were at one time the dutiful good boy. A lot of them, you aren't born a bad boy.
Fact.
You see who gets the attention. You see who ignores you. You see what happens when you get a little taller, get a little more bass in your voice, grow a little bit of a beard, and the dynamics change.
Totally.
You see how they change towards you once they suspect or see that another woman is interested. You're seeing this stuff. And if a woman's ex, if all her exes cheated on her, do you know the hell I'm going to go through to try to be the guy who does everything right, and the crap I got to go through? And I'm like, well, what is this thing where all the guys who do an X, Y, and Z, they get all the options? There is this thing of, like, even when it comes to attraction traits, you all value experience. We don't. So
Experience in like sexual experience. Yeah.
So when he's a virgin, I don't care how admirable he is. If you found out he was a virgin, had no experience with women whatsoever, he goes down a couple points instantly.
Damn, bro.
If he finds out you only had one or two boyfriends, oh my gosh, I got to get her off the market immediately.
Fact.
You don't want to know. Listen, you don't want to know the number, but you're paying attention to certain things and knows, oh, he has a few exes. He has some women that are his girlfriends that he's cool and comfortable with. He's very comfortable around women. He's very charismatic. That only comes with practice.
For sure.
That only comes with experience.
So you're saying, should men cheat because it doesn't matter if they don't?
I'm saying that what you're labeling and calling cheating is labeling an aspect of reality that was a market that was artificially created by the women and their standards. So, for instance, if most modern women in Western countries demand monogamy, in many human cultures throughout civilization actually was okay with polygyny because they factored this part in and you don't. The consequence is going to be is you keep leaving for cheating because he's not allowed to have a second wife or girlfriend.
Mel hates cheating. This is her favorite topic in the world.
Which is fine.
This dude right here, man. Jesus Christ, bro. Again, 100% red pill, manosphere, talking points. He's not saying nothing we haven't heard that most men in this space back. He's just saying it a different way. This dude right here, he might be setting himself up for a real career. Like, you might see this dude on cable news. You might see this dude on local news. You might see this dude in somebody's documentary. This might be the guy. This might be the one. He might be the guy. He's the blue pill guy with the red pill doctrine, right? He knows the lingo. He's speaking womanese to the best of his ability. If women today decided that we are going to reward the good guy, we're going to reward these men. We're going to covet virgins. We're going to covet guys who don't cheat. Then guess what? Dudes will change tomorrow. Dudes are doing what they need to do to get sexual access. It's point blank period. But we know that's never going to happen. Women will never take the good guy. Never. She just said it. She ain't going to get nope. Had the good guy, let him go. They ain't never going to change. They're going to continue to go after the bad boy. Right? They're going to continue to go after Hunter and Tucker, you know what I mean, and Chad and Tyrone. Hell, some Pookies and some Ray Rays. They're going to continue to go after the bad boy. They're going to go after the athletes. They're going to go after the Playboy, Iron Man type, Tony Stark type dude, right? They're going to continue to share an alpha, rather being saddled with a faithful beta. Shout out to Rollo Tomasi. He says this stuff all the time. And I bet you this dude, Jeff, this dude right here, he probably about to say it right now too. You know what I mean? I'm definitely going to work on it, Mandrill. I'm going to reach out to him. I'm going to reach out to him tonight. I'm going to do my damnedest, bro. And I guarantee you it's a line of people trying to reach out to this brother. Let's listen to this last little bit and then we'll wrap it up.
Fine, but I know that if you were born 500, not even 500, if you were born in another culture, another time, another civilization, you probably wouldn't have the leverage to be able to demand anything about this man is going to be with me and only me for the next 60 years of his life. He gave a dowry. He was a king. He was a monarch. He was very wealthy. He had this or that, and him having two concubines or your wife number 2 or 3, that's just what it was. I'm not saying that was good, but that was the part of human nature that people from the past and tradition accepted as a reality. When you are a blank slatist, your reactions and responses to something that clearly they're more designed to be able to do way more easily than you can is going to trigger you to constantly want to divorce, leave. Now I got to find a new guy to sleep with. Now I got to find a next partner every year. How many men do you want to do this dance with before you make one of the two major decisions? I need to get with a guy who's not going to cheat and stay with him, or I need to get with a guy who potentially could cheat, but I'm going to stay with him because he checks off all the other boxes that I'm looking for. The guy who is extremely good looking, extremely tall, makes all this money, and is also going to be faithful to you for the next 50 plus years of his life. So what's the percentage on that?
We'd have to look it up.
If 1% men is just based on height, weight, height, and salary, he's 1% of 1%.
No, it's a very interesting case.
So listen, that X, don't let me call him, because I fixed it. I say, listen, man, she gonna fix it. Y'all good. She forgave you for whatever. The reality is things change. And that's just it. And I don't want to say it's justified. It's just I've seen the story, and it's in my community as well. And it's where it's most highest divorce rate, lowest marital rate, highest rate of single mother households. Everything is skewed and horrible. And all of these women are coming back out there, older, more kids, more jaded, man after man. At some level, you can date women. You could be by yourself. You could date the man that nobody else wants, or you could date the man that you know everybody else wants. And whether he does tactfully do a little something on the side, you're not leaving. But I
mean, it's definitely a hard thing because women really don't want to look stupid, right? And so if we are dating a man who is hot and like we're just hoping that you're like crossing our little fingers that like he's just not going to cheat, I think biggest thing about it is like women really don't want to look like we don't want people to feel bad for us. Like, and so if our community knows that we're with a guy who's really good looking, but he's cheating on us, like like because now we're able to leave, we're most likely never not going to stand for that because we can't take the opinions of other people that are negative.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, again, that part right there. We don't want to look stupid. Well, which path is the stupid path? Here's a guy, multimillionaire, handsome, charismatic, all that other stuff, all this stuff. And you, along with 90% of women that are around you on the planet, want this guy. He's the top 1%. I would think it's the wise play to let him have a guma or side chick or whatever, a 304 or 234 304s on the side. I think the wise play is to let that happen and stay with this guy and build and still have it. That's not embarrassing. I think the dumb play is to dump him in hopes of getting the 1% of the 1% that doesn't cheat. Only 1% of that 1% doesn't cheat. So you're going to hold out for that guy? Which 99.9% of women want that guy who's not going to cheat, man? Stop it. Which one is stupid? And which one is wise? And this is the thing. And why are those people in your business anyway? If he's smooth with it, he's smooth with it. So why are they in your business anyway? Right? So, and this is why modern women just won't be happy, bro. They just won't be happy, man. There's just no way they can do it, man. There's just no way they can do it, bro. And I'm just gonna end it there. I'm just gonna end it there. But that was great. That's Jeff St. James talking to the sisters. This is why, fellas. This is why it just isn't worth it. It just isn't worth it. And you could be that 1% of the 1%. You could be that guy, get a woman, and she might cheat on you and claim you were too perfect. I had a woman that I caught messing around or whatever. I didn't care. It was what it was. But she blamed me. You're just so perfect. It's like I thanked her. Like, thanks. You did me a solid. You know what I mean? You did me a solid. And I went right back to doing what I was doing before. Because I don't mess around. Like, when I decide I'm going to be with someone, that's the one I want to be with. I don't mess around, bro. I can not do that. But she couldn't. And blame me for it. Like, oh, it was my fault. You went out. And that's again, going out on girls' night, girls' trips, and stuff like that. If you're dealing with a woman who enjoys spending time away from you, looks forward to spending time with her 304 friends and going to Tulum or going to Acapulco or going to Miami or going to Vegas or just going out. Girls' night, we just going out. If she does that, bro, just a matter of time, man. Just a matter of time. And it's over. She ain't digging you like that. You want that woman that gets upset when y'all go out as a couple. Like, let's just stay home. You want the woman who wants to keep you to herself and she don't want to share you with everybody else. She doesn't want to leave you. She certainly doesn't want to leave you. You at home watching History Channel. You could be at home watching, stuff about World War II. She'll be sitting there right next to you. You got no popcorn, babe? Want me to get you another cognac, babe? You want that woman. You want the woman when you turn to her like, what's good, love? Like, you want to watch that TV show you was liking, those people who get married on first sight or whatever? She's like, nope. Let's watch episode 2 of the Peaky Blinders. You want that woman? Like, nope, I don't want to watch that. The Bengals are playing at 7:30. She comes out like, I bought a Bengals t-shirt. She hates football, but she loves it because you love it. You want that woman. And fellas, when you have that woman, y'all better reward her because she's rare as well. Y'all better reward her. Right? She's doing all that. You got to let her know she is meaningful to you. Be honest with her. Like I said, don't be cheating. Cheating is not telling. Tell them up front. If you're going to go out there and do that, tell her up front so she can make up her mind. Right? And if she says, yeah, y'all good to go, man, just honor her, bro. I mean, you get her and she checks out. That's what you need to do, man. We got Scam Likely in the building, bro. What's good, fam? How you feeling? You say he can be reached by talking points mafia. Hey, bro, he's doing his. That's the blue pill. He's not even a red pill guy. I'm telling you, that is the new narrative. It has gone mainstream. It has gone mainstream. Women are in this situation because they put themselves here. Men are done playing the game. They're done. So it's on the women now. It's on the women. And they're asking all these questions and they're saying all these things, but they will not change. Right now, they haven't changed. Now, the smart ones, they know what time it is. They've already modified their game. They're doing their thing. They meeting who they meeting. They getting their man and they're cool. But these women who are out here and they want, they want all this money. They want to be the boss. They want to be alpha. They want to go out here and soil their wild oats. They want to go on girls' trips. They want to do all this. And then they want to turn around and get themselves a top tier man. Come on. You can't do it like that, sis. I'm sorry. It doesn't work that way. Not with the top tier dude. Now you go down to the bottom 80, they'll let you do all that. They don't care. I see that in the garage. I see those dudes that I know for a fact are holding the camera while their wife is getting their back blown out by Tyrone. I see them in the garage. And I also see the dudes that are real alphas, right? That run their home, doing their thing, and I see it in her eyes like she still loves her husband. I see it. And I see it. So that's where we are. We're going to leave it there. You can finish watching this video, man. It's in the link below. I put in the chat a link to a news story when I was talking about the kids that got rescued. It was 60 kids that they rescued. I put one of the stories in the chat so you guys can go click on that and check that out. Again, if you watch that story, they're talking about little girls. See how many times they mention little boys. See how many times they show pictures of little boys. How many little boys were actually out of that 60? How many were little boys? I tried to count because they had pictures up on some of the stories. I tried to count, man. It might have been like 4 or 5, I think. Just by the pictures, you can't tell. Little boys look like little girls these days anyway. So, but anyway, man, that was cool. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll be back. I'll definitely be back, man. I'm gonna try to do one a week, possibly 2 lives. Man, I definitely want to talk about what happened with the Sean Combs verdict. That was crazy. It was, the jury had to decide on 5 basically counts, and they came back with guilty verdicts on 2, and 3 were not guilty. The RICO and the human trafficking, which were the biggest cases he was facing, not guilty on those. He got guilty for transporting for prostitution. I think is the law. Never heard of this law before. Could do some time behind that. But it just doesn't look like he's going to get any time behind all this, guys. He's probably going to get time served and maybe some, like probation or something. But he's going to be home soon. And the question is, who's going to be with that dude? What happened here? Who's going to go to that Diddy party? All right, who's going to go to that Diddy party when he gets out? Where is that party going to be? That's what I'm curious to see. Who is the diddler going to target when he gets out? You know what I mean? So shout out to 1090 Jake. These are the questions that 1090 Jake was bringing up. He was like, yo, he's going to come out still fairly powerful, bro. Like, who is he going to go after? We shall see. So yeah. And then Brother Dino Dinosaur was not here today, but I just figured out late last night when he was talking about the crash, the plane crash, India crash. He was talking about the 777 crash. For whatever reason, my mind was gone last night. Yes, he was talking about the 777 crash. A Boeing 777 took off airport in India, couldn't climb out, wound up crashing into some apartment buildings. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like the NTSB and, of course, authorities in India and Europe, the whole world sends their people out to go look into these sort of things. I haven't looked at the preliminary stuff, but I'm gonna. Obviously, when I first saw that, I'm like, this. I thought it was pilot error. Could have been something mechanical. And apparently it happened again. Another 777, I think, out of India had the same issue, and it had something to do with the fuel being used or something like that. So I'm definitely going to be speaking on that, guys, at some point. So thanks for rocking out with me. I appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all so much for rocking out with me. We're going to keep doing what we do. Man, that was a good interview, man. So that brother right there, man, keep your eyes open for him, bro. That's Jeff St. James is his name. Out of the East Coast, professional licensed therapist, doing his thing. You know what I mean? A blue pill guy with red pill sensibilities, I guess we could put it. And I'm telling you, bro, this is going to change the game. This is going to continue to be a topic out here. So, and we're going to continue to react to it as it comes out, man. So I gotta go, man. I appreciate y'all. I know we were thinking like maybe we would do, like drop the link or whatever, but I gotta get to bed. I'm tired. The past couple of days have been pretty rough on my old ass, so I need to clean the kitchen up because my daughter did make pancakes, so I got some cleaning to do. And then I'm gonna hit the sack, bro. But I appreciate y'all, man. Thanks for rocking out with me. This is always great. Please like, share, subscribe. Oh, let me put another before I go, let me put another referral link in there. There you go. That's the referral link. If anybody's thinking about doing this, if you want to do content, man, I highly suggest StreamYard. I like StreamYard. Their rates are not bad, bro. Their rates are good. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not upset with what I pay for the service. I like the service. And if you're thinking about doing it, hit that link. Your man Uncle Saint will get a little kickback on that if you decide to do it. StreamYard is good. OBS is very good as well, but OBS is not user friendly. StreamYard is very user friendly, at least in my opinion. So that's it. That's all we got, man. Not sure when I'll be back. Definitely be back by Monday or Tuesday. I might even jump on over the weekend. Y'all know I don't like Independence Day, so we'll see what happens. I might be back. Look for the thumbnails. Appreciate you, man. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. For those who out there ninja watching, I appreciate you as well. If you don't mind, go ahead and give us a subscribe. Tell your friends. It is what it is. I'm DL Saint. This is That Really Want to Know podcast. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.
Nothing like I've ever seen. It's just a thing of beauty.
Darn, that's the end.